yesterday a further sum of tens of millions in order to lift the number of state houses that would be completed this year. There is a difference between an announcement and doing it.
We come. Supplementary question, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Why would the country have confidence in the Minister of Infrastructure when he discloses that the entire infrastructure package announced yesterday might keep 2,000 people in their jobs, when 10,000 jobs have been lost in the last 3 months alone, and when Treasury estimates demonstrate that under existing government policy settings, New Zealand will lose 1,000 jobs a week each and every week this year, and doesn't that show that this infrastructure package is hopelessly inadequate to address that problem?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister does have confidence in the Minister of Infrastructure, and the country can because the country and the Prime Minister know that there will be more announcements and actually more infrastructure projects coming online over the next 2 or 3 years. They will be focused on productive investment designed to lift our long-term economic capacity. We do not believe that any government program will be able to prevent a significant rise in unemployment, and that member should know that because under the previous government, unemployment started rising.
By
order,
Mr. Speaker, was that an admission?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
By the Prime Minister that he's given up and that he accepts that those Treasury estimates are right and that we will see unemployment, already 9.6% for Maori workers, at around 7%.
Prime Minister.
Speaker, the government hopes that unemployment won't reach those levels, but it understands that it can't turn back the tide of a recession, and we need to do two things. Protect people from the sharpest edges of recession and prepare this economy to grow again, because the only thing that will help people who lose their jobs in the next few months will be enough confidence among business to invest in new jobs to replace the ones that are lost.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Why should the country have confidence in the Minister of Finance when his action before Christmas in stripping $750 million out of the pockets of low and middle income families when they were promised those tax cuts and legislation are totally against the advice given by the chief economist of Moody's, Mark Zandi, who said that those sort of tax cuts are exactly the sort of cost-effective measures needed to stimulate the economy and job growth, rather than the policies that this national government has pursued and said.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the country showed its confidence in the national government and its cabinet by voting us in the last election on a tax package we campaigned on. And people can look forward to tax cuts on the 1st of April, particularly for people on low and middle incomes who will benefit most from the package.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Why should the country have confidence in the Prime Minister when his policy of drip-feeding minor announcements in response to the economic crisis is exactly the opposite of what the chief economist of the International Monetary Fund is in fact recommending, and which is contradicted by the United States Treasury Secretary Kim Geithner, who said this week, and I quote, "We believe that the policy response has to be comprehensive and forceful. There is more risk and greater cost in gradualism than in aggressive action." Clearly, we're getting gradualism, caution and great conservatism.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, there are two reasons why the country can have confidence. The first is that in New Zealand, fortunately, we are not trying to deal with a collapsing financial system, which Secretary Geithner is trying to deal with, and I must say it looks a bit unsuccessfully at the moment, given And the second reason, yeah,
Order.
he's got a John Kennedy School of Government diploma. And the second reason, the second reason the country can have confidence is because, as I've explained to the House a number of times, New Zealand has significant fiscal stimulus in place now, comparable to Australia and the US, and that is one reason why people feel they have more cash in their pockets and are wondering when the recession is going to hit them, because they have low interest rates, tax cuts and lower petrol prices putting cash in their pockets.